I've got a Samsung Tab S5e here. Very unusual problem. The power on button is heating. You can't keep your finger just after 5 seconds. This one is stupidly hot basically, so there is a short somewhere. Tablet seems to be working fine. The one other symptom is that while it's not in charge, it's showing it's charged basically. So let's just sort of I've turned the power off basically on that, just to prove a point that the ouch, flipping it, mate. Just hang on. Just turn the thing on basically. Right, that's the tab. Okay, so it's turning on fine. But where the problem comes in is the fact that the button is heating up. Obviously there is a bit of a flex on the frame. Now I've already reset it back to factory, so all the apps and everything's have gone. The other thing I was going to mention to you before was that the battery draw is high. So you can actually sort of, when you monitor, the battery is dropping quite rapidly. Adding on to that, when you take it off charge, this was fully charged not so long ago, probably about half an hour ago, and the battery's drawn down to 68%. That's a massive draw of current basically. So something's shorted on that side. It could even be the home button itself. I don't know until I take it off. So those are some of the symptoms that I'm getting out of this. So let's switch this back off again, and I'll connect the phone onto the thermal imager. Okay. Right. Okay. So this area is hot. You've literally seen the although the tablets it's still turned off, there's a lot of heat being generated on that part of the board basically. So I'm going to sort of take this off, and then use the have a look, visual inspection, and then I'm going to sort of reconnect the thermal imager and see what's going on. Okay, right, the tablet's connected, bare bone, nothing's attached, even the battery's disconnected, LCD, everything's off, and it's drawing really 500 to 600 milliamp at 5.2 volt. So something's getting hot, something's shorted. I'm going to put the thermal imager on and see what's going on.
No way. You know, Dylan. You know the guy that you said was in Zach Choi's video? Yeah. He weighs 145 kilograms, which is basically 320 pounds. He said it's water weight. I mean, he's eating so much in that channel, so I don't think it's water weight. I mean, Matt Stormy could literally just switch with him. I'm not trying to say Matt Stormy eats literally so much food and is still skinny, like a stick. He's literally like maybe a bit under. He's maybe a bit more like he's basically like Dad, but like a bit more skinnier. I can't remember. Maybe like definitely. It's similar to Ali, but a bit more oval, a bit more thingy. It's a bit more fatter. That's what you want. Basically, like Hussein, similar to Hussein. That's Matt Stormy. I don't want it. Well, he's not muscular. Actually, to be honest, he's like Ali, but with muscles, but not muscular. That's just okay. And he's got literally freaking hair like Melvin. What is this dude? It's so much long hair. She looks like oh wait, no wonder it is. Isn't it met her? No, we've met her before. No.
Quite clear that there is a heated component on this side of the board basically. looking at the temperature, is hitting around about 90 odd degrees. So I'm going to try and do the alcohol test to try and see what component that's really getting hot here on this side basically. So let's grab some alcohol and a cotton bud, working square, and let's see if I can get this in here. And maybe I can throw a bit more. Yes, we found our culprit. The charging ice is also getting hot, but this is just literally sort of a focus, you stupid camera. See, as soon as I put alcohol, it just evaporates straight away. So we've got a short in this area here basically. This area, this, and most likely this controller IC, or it could be one of these caps. Okay, I believe that the short is on this component somewhere. Let's just sort of get a bit of a nice focus first of all. Okay, so, and see how quickly the alcohol evaporates basically, no matter how much alcohol I put in on the circuit board. See how it's smoking, right? And it's drawing nearly 5 to 6 amp basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this area, remove this component, and plug it back in and see if it's drawing any any amperage. If it is, then obviously this component is faulty, and that's what's leading to all the power button problems of what I've been having basically. So I'm going to do that off the camera. So let's unplug this. I suppose I can continue with the mission basically. Let me sort of go back into this, and you can just about see the bench power supply. I'll plug it back in again just to prove the point basically. And as you can see, the bench power supply is drawing 0.0 amp. Sorry, it's a sort of a bird view. Watch what happens as soon as I plug that in. Alright, so obviously the components is plugging. As soon as I unplug this, there's about nearly 500-600 milliamp that's been drawn. So before I can play with heat and moving components, what I need to do is protect those PFC whatever connects, but it's sort of cover all this, mask these up for the best. That logic board could be saved. As I said, the tablet is working. I haven't got a circuit diagram to sort of find what this fucking component is basically, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, because I need to remove that and see if the short is gone basically. So alright, so yeah, these are just all fucking troll repairs basically. CPU's gone on that, so that'll be an old repair basically. I'm not removing the fucking edge bundling and trying fixing it basically for what? This phone's worth probably about £110, £120, something like that. So absolutely not in this lifetime that I'm going to be fucking doing that. Okay, let's. What I'm going to do is let me probably do it under this thingy basically, camcorder. Just. Okay, so I hope the audio is recorded. What I'm going to do is let me put it on a little jig so the board doesn't move about. Okay, so let's I have to raise the camcorder height. So many things on these boards. Absolutely, don't even fit in a jig properly. That's how bullshit these boards are. I mean, the way these things are designed now, I'll be honest with you, it's designed in such a way that what the manufacturers are doing is try and make sure that people like myself can't repair them. All right, that's the whole agenda of edge bonding and this and that and blah blah blah. Okay, so let's test these capacitors, and there should be. Yep, we're getting beep. I'm sure you can hear that. Yep, that's my probe testing. You know, I'm not going to desolder this under camera, only because that's okay. Only because there's a delay of whatever, and I'm not used to it with these camcorders. So I'm going to use my Mantis Elite. That's okay. There's no beep there. No beep there. There's no beep there. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fluke fine tip basically, just so that I can repeat the checking again. If you're wondering what these fluke tips are, the TP, let me tell you the part number on them basically, so I don't get asked on the fluke probe, and these are fluke probe, pin probe, TP88. So don't ask me that question, all right? I won't be answering that question. It's TP Tango Papa 88. That's the fluke pit. What I'm using now, I'll show you. They're very fine, very good. Look at that. All right, so that's what I'm using. Going back onto the tablet. Let's check these two capacitors first. To the top two. No beep. Okay. Okay. Okay, and as soon as I come here, so this pin is shorted to ground basically. You can hear the multimeter sort of going bonkers basically. So what I'm going to do is let's put it on ohms and see what we're getting on this, because sometimes say it's coming from. Sorry, I'm using the F word today. Just a bit wound up because all these repairs are just like, you don't mind doing them, but just when you've got jobs that are trolling you. It's 18 ohms. Right, let's get rid of this probe. Now, it's all good and well when you're doing ohm tests, it's alright, but I prefer to sort of not using them. Okay. Well, I could do with having a circuit diagram basically. No, so this definitely there's a short somewhere. Put it on a diode mode and see. Up on the ground. It'd be a good idea to remove that capacitor and see if the short is. When it beeps, one side is grounded and one side is connected to the component here basically. So this side, so definitely I can't see it being the capacitor that's shorted. It's this fucker that's shorted 100%. So let me mask it off and take the component off, and we'll continue. Right, there has been a slight change of plan. I won't be removing the component, basically the IC, but I'll be removing the capacitor right underneath actually, and see if the short has gone. So that's the game plan for now. And sadly I just can't find, that's the marking on the actual component, GA1L or I or whatever you want to say that. Okay, so the capacitor underneath is going to be removed because there's a short on that component on that rail basically, and it's hitting over 100 degrees Celsius. So let's remove the cap and see what happens basically. As I said, I just don't know what I can't find the schematic for this Samsung Tab S5e on the internet, so I don't know what this component is, and I don't have a donor board either, and it's very hard to get these hold. Even in AliExpress I couldn't find a donor board. So let's remove this capacitor, because the chances are that it might be the capacitor that's at fault here. There's a high probability of that basically, because it's shorted to ground on that rail. So let's see what happens anyway. Okay. I've actually removed the controller, I've removed the capacitor. The short was still there, it was still overheating, so I've removed the component and the short is now gone. So watch what happens when I connect the power supply. It's at 5.2 volts, and let me plug this. Sorry, I'm holding the mobile phone with one hand. Okay, and look, it's only drawing 0.1 amp, and that's what it should be doing, but there is a bit of a pulse going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit this the LCD and see if it powers up, and if it's causing any sort of abnormal behavior. This component here that has been taken off basically, and I'll show you under the microscope. Just jump in, just create a bit of space for myself. Just been an awkward kind of a week for me. So let's move over to the microscope and in a bit. Yeah, you've probably seen the capacitor's a bit battered. That, don't worry about that. That's just one part, one side that's stripped off, but the cap itself is fine, so I wouldn't worry about that. Okay, so when I say the cap, I mean use these tweezers. Just didn't like them. That is just a bit missing, but on the underneath of that capacitor there's contact, so don't worry, that's perfectly fine. This particular component, what I've actually removed, is part of the charging PCB basically. So for example, when I put this pad in question, the one in the top middle, so let's get back at it again. This pad, okay, so when this is where well, this component was shorted anyway, but when you probe around these pads, particularly this one, and touch the part of the, so let's go back, there's just so much messing around when you're trying to record something basically. So that pad, what I've shown you, is actually is connecting directly onto this I believe it's a coil. Let's have a look. These days you just can't not always identify these components by just looking at it. Yeah, that's where it's connected to basically. This little thing. So it's beeping on this side. So this is your PCB for your charging for the device itself. The symptom at the moment is that it's working fine. It's charging the battery fine. The only thing is that when it reaches about 100%, it tends to switch off the tablet. So I think the trouble is that as I am unable to identify the component, and there aren't many donor boards around, even looks on AliExpress everywhere. I'm just going to put it back together and give it to my friend. And as I said, the battery's charging fully. It's discharging at a slow as normal rate, so everything seems to be okay, apart from the fact that when it reaches about 100%, it's kind of, if the tablet is turned off, it's switching itself off basically. So sadly, that's where we're at with it. Around So what I'm doing is just warming up the adhesive just to allow it to activate. A bit of on the LCD, heat on the LCD. The beautiful thing about hairdryer is that you're not applying excessive heat basically. Works like magic, this, honestly. This just works like magic. So right, let's jump in and try and put the LCD on. Yes, it's very sticky that at the moment, but time will tell. Right, in terms of applying this back on, this is where it's going to get a bit awkward, because ideally I'd like to do it like this so I can see what I'm doing, but at the same time there is no room for errors. Okay, so that's gone in. In fact, what I'm going to do is just make sure that the tablet is turning on, because just once it's bonded then. Yep, okay, so that's brilliant. Whoa, 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 whoa. Easy, tiger. I'm going to do stuff is just like, if that's the heat that's done it or whatever it is, I don't know. It seems to be working far better than this side goes in first, remember, this side. So your charging port is there, this side. This is where your flexes are for the thingy basically. So stopping it from it sitting flush. No fucking way. You piece of shit. It's this, that. So what I need to do now is, let me find something that can raise this. Use this. Let me find something really sticky. Pair of scissors. Where's my scissors gone? Just so that it's holding down onto that. What that flex is doing is pushing the LCD up. Now I know that this bonding's not so great, but okay. Now I am going to apply a bit more heat. The tablet seems to be working fine, but all the touch and everything, which I'm going to do to check now, but it still sort of shows a charging icon on the battery. If you look here, although nothing's been plugged in. So to my mind, that component initially was shorted, was part of the data line of the battery, basically, because it still sees it as a charging charger being connected. However, the battery draw, now that's what I'm going to observe basically, seems to be normal. The battery charge has gone up to 100% now. So my feeling is that this is some part of the data line of the charging side, as I may repeat. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do a quick test on the rest of the thingy basically. So cancel that. There's a code on this that's move this elastic band. I've kept that elastic band just so that the LCD doesn't fall off, because that's more expensive than the actual unit. Samsung likes to produce these sort of things. It's expensive. Well, makes it expensive for people basically, right? So it's one of those things. So the code is *#0. Let me read this out, and then *# again. And then that takes you to your check. So we'll do red, okay, green, okay, blue, rear camera, fine. Grip sensor, I'm not really asked about that, but that's not responding. I'm not really bothered about that, right? I said these sensors, that seems to be fine. If you keep an eye on that as I'm rotating, that's rotating as well. Okay. Touch. Let's go over this. Wish I had a pen. Mistake. That's okay. Well, when you're using the tablet and you know when something's right or not. Basically, that's right. Speakers. That's the top left. So it's failed, but it's not. You can hear the sound. Don't panic. Oops. You can hear the sound. So it moves on to this now then. That one. You can hear sound. This is this bottom one now. And this one now. So don't. Okay, so that passed the test basically. So fail was by default. Stupid frigging things. Sub buttons. See, this is the message. This is the error message that comes up. It's just gone now. So that's the error message. So it's definitely on the data line of the charging circuit basically. So that's all cool. Front camera. There you go. That's the front camera. Black. It's black. So stupidly, you've got to hit the home button for it to go back. And then whole IC, I have absolutely no frigging idea what this is all about. Basically, I'm not going to bother with it. So yeah, the fact of the matter is that this is working. Let me go on to the settings. Remember 97, 96 now. Before it was losing a lot of battery capacity. So I don't know if you saw that because of the backlight and the stupid Logitech webcam. What I'm using, that's supposed to be the business edition basically, but it's absolute bollocks. There's nothing better than a proper camcorder. But the trouble is that having to invest on a camcorder means I've got to have another Yeti Pro, or not Yeti, the Elgato capture thingy basically, and I'm not doing that because they're expensive. So 96, it was 97 before, so it's dropping the voltage, the battery voltage slowly, which is normal. That's how it should be. Before it was dropping, probably say every 5 minutes it's dropping a couple of percentage of battery basically. So in half an hour you've lost about 40%, roughly, something like that, the battery capacity. And that was happening because it was drawing 0.5 to 600 milliamp of current, right, when that component was shorted basically. So anyway, let's go into Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi seems to be working. It's connected, right? Okay, sound is also working. Volume. Yeah. Go back, display, just control the brightness. Happy with that? This is the message what I'm getting. So there's definitely an issue on that side basically. But hence saying that it's still working basically. It's still charging and all that business. And I think that's about it. Device care battery. Let's check all this out. Let's optimize this. Your battery, it's what we used of. It's been on YouTube. I'm going to leave it on YouTube for the rest of the evening. So yeah, that's all really. Everything else seems to be working, apart from the fact that you've got a symbol of this battery charging thing, basically. So I won't know until I've gone through another couple of charge cycles just to see what the behavior is. Sadly, the schematic cannot be found. So if somebody can help me as to identify what this part number is, then that would be much appreciated, because I would like to put things back in its place so that everything's working as it should be. So yeah, I'll leave it with you guys. Please update me if you've got any further info on that. Anyway, stay well, stay safe, and bye for now.